Hi, this is a Finite Automaton designer I made for a Theory of Computation class I was taking last semester. And I'll start off with a quick demo and explain how this could be used for like maybe an autograder on Gradescope. So you can get started by just clicking a node here like this. And when you bring in another node next to it, it automatically creates an arrow between them. So you can think of these as your two states, Q0 and Q1. And you can change the name of these states here. And there's some like minor LaTeX support. So if I do like QA, it's kind of small, but you can see the label has changed here. And then you can also change the label between the link here. So if I do like alpha, for example, it shows up here. And it's not like perfect LaTeX. It's actually taking your LaTeX and then converting it into Unicode. But there's a decent bit of LaTeX support, I would say. So here, maybe create a more complicated diagram. And another thing that you can do is you can actually select a node with a right click and select another node, and that automatically creates an arrow between them. So in the selection mode, you can actually use the A, S, D keys to change it to a substate, change it to a start state, and change it and delete it actually in that order. So I can make this in a substate by pressing A. That gives this like kind of turquoise color, and you see that step on the label here. You can also click the node directly and actually use these checkboxes to actually change that. So if I want to make this a start node instead, I can just do this, and it becomes green. So if you make it a start and a substate, it'll color it purple, and you can see the label here. So you make this a substate, this is a substate, and then fill in some of these links here. So I can do mat BBZ, for example. I can do arrows too, so like A to B. There's a decent bit of support, but you can't do everything. You can also like look up the instructions on how to use this by hovering over this question mark, and it'll pull it up at the top. If you have a bunch of like string nodes like this, you can press F, and that full screens everything so you can see all the nodes that you've created. And I've also been using this undo redo button here. And what's really happening here is that this URL is connected to some URL query, and that allows you to actually share your design. So maybe open this in a private window, and you can see that I still have the same Finite Automaton. So on this export page, you can see JSON, we'll get to that later, and you can also see LaTeX. So when you're creating your piece set, you can actually export the LaTeX from this website and introduce it into your own LaTeX code and render it for your homework assignment. Yeah, and then of course you can edit it here and like change the states and whatever you would like. But yeah, so this project was kind of like inspired from Quiver. Like I used this a lot when I was making my own Finite Automaton for the class, but like I feel like a force-based one kind of like optimizes how to like design your Finite Automaton, especially when it's very complex. And this actually gives you a JSON, which you can use. You can export it to JSON, and I have a Python file in here which reads that JSON and then conserves some like DFA object from that. And you can use an autograder to actually like test your DFA to see whether it works. So this could be something that you use in your Gradescope autograder in order to test your students, and also like make it very easy for students to submit their DFA and not have the hassle of like TAs like laboriously grading over each different transition. But yeah, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I think this repo is maybe a bit messy, so I'll clean it up, but that's pretty much it. Hope you guys like it.